Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, we are discussing about water. So when we imagine water, we think of rivers, waterfalls, raindrops, water in our taps, etc. After rain, we can see a mud puddles formed here and there. By the noon, these puddles get vanished. Where does they go? The sun's heat, it causes evaporation of water into vapor. And when the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms clouds, and from there it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow or sleet. The process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between oceans, atmosphere and land, it is known as water cycle. Our earth is like a terrarium. Terrarium means it is an artificial enclosure for keeping small house plants. The same water that existed centuries ago still exists today. The water used in Haryana or Punjab elsewhere in the world, it may have flown in the river Amazon 100 years ago. The major sources of fresh water are rivers, ponds, springs and glaciers. The ocean bodies and the seas, they contain salty water. The water in the ocean is salty or saline as it contains a large amount of dissolved salts, and most of the salt is sodium chloride, or which is also called as a common salt that we consume. There are four main stages in water cycle. They are evaporation, condensation, precipitation and percolation, which is also called as collection. In the process of evaporation, the warmth of the sun, that is the heat rays from the sun, it causes water from oceans, lakes, streams, ice and soils to rise into the air and turn into water vapor or gas. Water vapor droplets, it joins together to form a clouds. Condensation. This is when a water vapor in the air, it cools down and turns back into liquid water. Precipitation. This is the process where the water, which is in the form of rain, snow, hail or sleet, it falls from the clouds to the earth. Collection, or which is also called as percolation. This is when a water falls from the clouds as rain, snow, hail or sleet. It gets collected in oceans, rivers, ponds or spring elsewhere. Most of the water gets soaked into the ground and we use it later as underground water. The water cycle, it is powered by the sun's energy and as well as gravity. The sun kickstarts the whole cycle by heating the earth's water and making it evaporate, and gravity makes the moisture fall back to the earth. And this is the process of water cycle. The movements that occur in the oceans, it can be classified into three types: waves, tides and currents. What are these waves? Suppose you are playing on a beach and the ball falls into the water, we can see that the ball gets washed back to the shore by the waves. And when the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternately, they are called waves. So with the help of these waves, the ball thrown into the ocean comes back to the seashore. Waves are formed when winds scrape across the ocean surface. The stronger the winds blow, the bigger the waves become. When storm occurs, the wind blows at a very high speed to form huge waves, and this may cause a tremendous destruction. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption or underwater landslides, it can shift large amount of ocean water. As a result, a huge tidal wave is formed, and that wave is called as tsunami. This tsunami, it may be as high as 15 meters when it is formed, and the largest tsunami ever measured, it was about 150 meter high, and these waves, they travel at a speed of more than 700 km per hour. The tsunami, which occurred in 2004, it caused a widespread damage in the coastal areas of India. The Indra Point in the Andaman and Nicobar Island, it completely got submerged after the tsunami occurred in that island. Tides. The rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day is called as tide, and we call high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising its height, that means its highest level, and it is called low tide when water falls to its lowest level and recedes from the shore. The strong gravitational pull which is exerted by the sun and the moon on the earth's surface, it causes tides. The water of the earth which is closer to the moon, it gets pulled under the influence of moon's gravitational force and it causes high tides. And during the full moon and new moon days, the sun, the moon and the earth are in the same line and the tides are at very highest point, and these tides are called as spring tides. But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean water, it get drawn diagonally opposite directions by the gravitational pull of sun and moon, which results in low tides, and these tides are called as neap tides. High tides help in navigation. They rise the water level close to the shores, and this helps the ships to arrive the harbor more easily. And high tides, they are also helpful in fishing. Many more fishes come closer to the shore during the high tides, and this enables fishermen to get a plentiful of catch. The rise and fall of water due to a tides is being used to generate electricity in some places. Ocean currents. Ocean currents are the streams of water flowing constantly on the ocean surface in definite directions. The ocean currents, it may be warm or cold. Generally, the warm ocean currents, they originate near the equator and they move towards the poles, and the cold currents, they carry water from polar or higher latitudes to a tropical or lower latitudes. The Labrador Ocean current, it is a cold current, whereas the Gulf Stream is a warm current. The ocean current influences the temperature conditions of the area. Warm currents bring about warm temperature over land surface, and the areas where the warm and cold currents meet, they provide a best fishing grounds of the world. Seas around Japan and the eastern coast of North America are examples. The areas where a warm and cold current meet, they also experience a foggy weather condition which makes the travelers difficult for navigation. See you in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.